Next item on the agenda is new business. IGA with City of Woodburn for a CDBG grant of funding for food bank. Rick, is that for you?
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Council, there is in your council packet a nearly a course talking about page 57. Essentially, how do you say the name of the food bank? Where?
Aware.
More or less has been requested to apply for a grant to acquire a substantial amount of food stock. And that food bank serves the residents of Hubbard, Woodburn, and Jervis. As a condition of the grant, which has not yet been awarded, so they were asked to apply for it. As a condition of the grant is a requirement for an intergovernmental agreement between the three cities. Our role in this is very nominal. We participate in it. We authorize someone to sign the intergovernmental agreement. Woodburn runs the program. Woodburn runs the food bank, and it allows Jervis people to get food there. So what is being asked tonight is for the intergovernmental agreements on the next page. It's your standard length boilerplate IGA between three cities. You'll see a place on the top for Woodburn city manager to sign it. What is being asked for staff, by myself, is that you authorize the intergovernmental agreement and designate either the mayor or myself to sign it on behalf of the city. Straight and simple. We have no other engagement, involvement, or issues involved here. It's a benefit for our community citizens.
It said that we would have to compile all needed documents and provide data, financial information. That's not something that would cost you time.
Woodburn's taking care of all of that.
This is that food bank down in Woodburn by the library.
It's right downtown. I was told it was across from the chamber office, but
Yes, that's the brand new one. They just built. Yeah, it did super nice inside.
Will this be like a yearly thing, or is this gonna be where you need to do a contract every year, or, so it looks like the term ends in like June of 2026?
it's a one-time grant being offered by a state agency in which Woodburn is jumping on, and they're just requiring an IGA with the other two cities involved.
I'll see a problem with it if we're not putting out any money and it's benefiting our citizens. If we let them know that there's a food bank that they can go to when they're in need, as long as we're making that information available to them that they can go to this place. Yes, a lot of people probably aren't aware of that.
Definitely, I was even unaware as well, and so I've been begging for information, and once it all gets formalized, we will be publicizing this.
That's what was my question. Thank you.
Everybody to be aware.
Aware. No, I've had experiences with them, not just working with them as volunteer, things like that, but just knowing what they're able to provide people, residents, homeless, it doesn't really matter. They do a wonderful job there.
Okay, to everybody, I'd like to make as you put it, a simple motion authorizing the city to enter into the IGA and authorize the requested signature to be appropriate.
I second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. You want to do roll call? All right. From the left, Councilman McGinnis. Councilwoman Ray.
Aye.
Council President Ray.
Aye.
Councilman McGinnis.
Aye.
And Councilman Gould.
Aye.
All ayes.
I did them.
Please do.
First and third Wednesday of every month, Sacred Heart has a food bank there at Father's house. I volunteer at. They've been doing that for 20 years. But it's there, I mean, people from Woodburn come, I mean, it's same thing, you just put your zip code and number of people. And everyone's welcome.
As it benefits the city and the residents, would you be able to publicize that along with where? Rick?
I appreciate some info.
Yeah, if you could, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. Are we now on to staff reports? First one, we city manager, Rick.
Mr. Mayor and Council, as you are aware, in the utility bills next week, we're sending out the community survey about our goal setting session in October. Prior, and in addition to the ones going out in the mail, we have them available here at the window, and we have a few here. We're trying to push people to take one and provide responses. So just let you know they're there. A reminder that on October 2nd, we have the open house, October 3rd, I'm sorry, Friday, October 3rd. We have the open house for the grand opening of the fire station. At 4 o'clock, 4 to 8 on October 3rd, new fire station event. The only other add is some real success that Desiree and Laura have successfully completed our process. And I am to inform the city council, city of Jervis residents that we now have the option to pay your utility bills online. You can visit the city of Jervis website and there you will see the link on the home page to pay your bill online. You will create an account using your utility account number, and then you will have access to pay your bill and see your account details. This is something that actually got generated before I even arrived on the scene here, I believe. But anyway, it's up, it's running. We've been doing some testing with it for the last couple months, and now it is open for general public consumption. You have my written report in the council packet, and I'm happy to answer any other questions. But I have nothing else to add.
The only question I had regarding the new billing site, billing ability is resident able to choose how much they want, if they want to go above and beyond. For example, one of the reasons I didn't sign up for it because I have a huge credit because we always pay over every month a certain amount. We do that for a few years. It'll hopefully equal out. We don't have to worry about it. But I couldn't see anywhere where it said that I would be showing a credit. It was just going to be bill me for the amount due. So Desiree, maybe you know.
So I don't have the ability myself to create an account if I don't live in Jervis. But from what I saw on Laura's account, the only thing I saw is that you can pay your payment and you can see your usage and what your bill activity has been.
I think
So
there
it might show.
was that other, I think there was that other box if I remember, because I was kind of the guinea pig. But I only did it the 1 month because there was a $4 processing fee, so yeah,
Supposed to be, I think, $1.25.
I believe it was higher than, but I will double check.
Definitely need to look into that then. Because my bank, I can do it for free,
Right,
right now.
right.
That was something I want to make sure we were letting the public know as well, that they could use the website, but there was a small processing fee.
We'll do some more research.
Yeah, I'm always gonna ask the same question about this. Is there ever gonna be the ability to just have auto pay? Please, and thank you.
That would be me having to save your credit card and do it. Sonia.
Work that out.
IA programs are growing very strong nowadays.
Any questions for the city manager?
We got the situation figured out with the email. I saw something about Melissa had been emailing us regarding the questionnaire, and I never got any emails from Melissa, and then I saw your response from you to her.
I sent you the council president, I attached you to it.
Yeah, so
The
that
town
was,
council was on the very first email. The only one who responded to her was myself and chief, so she was pretty much asking.
I didn't see it at all, and I would have responded, so I apologize, Melissa.
I responded today after I got a copy from him.
I want to make sure if you guys are sending us emails, we're not getting them, let us know, please.
Yeah, and I believe her question in this email was, the only thing they were saying was certain items on where the money could be spent, the residents want to see it. And there could have been more, or at least another box open for any other comments, any other ideas maybe. So for future reference.
Where we could spend less, I think was the other question she wanted to ask.
It was, but that's why I figured
Yeah.
additional would be good. Nothing else for Rick? Police department, chief. Please.
Council members. Evening. So just cresting in my third month here with you as your interim chief and gonna give you a little bit of report here. I've got in your packet, you'll see you have your staff report that has just our statistical data. I'm not gonna go through all of it. I'll go through a bit of it and then I want to get into just kind of what we've been doing over the past month for you all. A couple of the statistical things at the top, calls for service and then proactive police calls for service, total of 87. This is for August 1st, August 28th, so just shy of a month period of time. 4 arrests occurred and traffic stops amounted to 36. You can see the additional data points there as well. But I want to jump down into the other bullet points that are in your report there, just to talk about those things. You'll see that I've kind of put old business as your first title there, and with speed enforcement and the Butteville Road fatality and then leadership model. This is just things that we talked about last month, so I just wanted to report back to you just in regards to things that we're doing in regards to what we talked about from last month. So speed enforcement obviously was a big theme for council as well as for the community that spoke a month ago. That's something that I'm looking at and analyzing and seeing that is something we're going to enhance our speed enforcement ability for the city. And I would hope to see that come next month. We'll start to see increased data points in that area. So I thank the community and council also for your comments from last month. And like I said, I've analyzed data over the past year in regards to what we've been doing to kind of see some averages to be able to see where I'd like us to go to help out in regards to those complaints. The Butteville Road fatality, obviously that was a big topic last month as well. I looked into that a little bit, just wanted to be able to kind of report back to you in regards to that case, because I know there was a lot of kind of sub themes that went on with that fatality. Things that I learned that you either may know or may not know. Obviously the vehicle was not coming necessarily out of Jervis. It was traveling on Jensen Road, that'd be the road right next to the fire department, and was witnessed on that road traveling and then turning onto Butteville Road. And at that time, when it was witnessed as being all over the road. And in the investigation, I've been working with Multnomah County on this to get information and found out that unfortunately alcohol was definitely heavily involved in this. So while speed was also a piece that was looked at, from what I've heard, this was primarily an intoxicated related fatality is the primary focus of this. So you're aware. That said, there was also, I think of the proper wording here. With every tragedy, obviously there's a lot of heartache and bad that comes from that. But when you can find something that you can maybe improve in that, that's a good thing. And so I think with that discussion produced some analysis too, where I said we were going to be looking at what ODOT's seeing, what county is seeing, being that it was a county road. We did that, as you may already know, and I noticed when I started coming to Jervis here 3 months ago, when you leave Jervis on that road, there's a 55-mile-an-hour zone sign. But if you're coming from Woodburn and you're at the traffic circle over by the Amazon building there, you're traveling now down the road southbound towards Jervis, there's no signage in regards to speed. Now, that said, once again, we discussed this last month, county road, this is county rules, and all roads in the county in essence fall back to that 55. That said, the collaborative work I'm doing with Multnomah County with their sheriff's office, we're talking about the aspect that while that is true, if you're someone coming from, say, Woodburn or from I-5 and you're traveling towards that traffic circle, the speed there is 35 miles an hour as you would be coming towards the traffic circle. And as you go through that traffic circle, and if you then kick out onto Butteville, is it 35? Or is it 55? Because if you're coming from the county the other direction, it's 55. So you have two roads feeding into a traffic circle with different speeds. One saying 35, one 55. So that's a discussion that I'm having and working with Multnomah County Sheriff's Office for them to work with their Public Works Department in regards to the potential for need for that signage of showing it 355. Again, their swim lane, not ours, but that collaborative work with them is helping them to hopefully maybe make that change. And that was something I think that was a discussion point from last month. You may also know, I bring up as mentioned, there was another fatality just north of there. That occurred again. If there's any question on that, from what I hear, it's a motorcyclist that was driving carelessly, recklessly. So just FYI. That said, 2 fatalities in an area that's not in Jervis, but is in close proximity like that. Again, working with Multnomah County or Marion County, sorry, not Multnomah County, Marion County. They're enhancing their enforcement in the area for speed enforcement due to those 2 fatalities. So anyway, that as well. Leadership model, we're still continuing with that. Still, like I just said, doing a lot of connectivity with Marion County Sheriff's Office, with the chiefs in the region, working with school district and their leadership, working with the schools themselves, their principals, vice principals for connectivity, setting up contracts as well in regards to background investigators for future processes, IGAs with Mount Angel in regards to helping and supporting them for their upcoming Oktoberfest and getting that to be a IGA agreement where it will be a full reimbursement for our officers going and helping them out. So we're not seeing losses there. So working cooperatively a lot with these other law enforcement and then just community leaders to be helpful to the community and for our police. Next point on your bullet point was shifting tides. Officer Savannah Brad. So as you know, last month when I was here, I think we made the indication that we had 2 officers on the road and we had 1 person that would be on light duty. I'll obviously say that was going to be Savannah Brad due to maternity leave. Congratulations to her. That said, changing tides, she's also decided that law enforcement isn't going to be her career. She shifted out of that. She's resigned from the police department and has moved on to other pastures beyond law enforcement. So that kind of puts an end to that career here for her. That leads into your next point, which is current staffing. Currently staffing on the road, we're at 50% staffing. That said, you'll see that, like I said on that table, current staffing and new police coverage doing more with less. So yes, we have less officers at this point on the road, but we have adjusted the shift schedules at this point. A union contract allows us to do that at this point. And we're able to, as of September 1st, make adjustments. So we have now, for part of the work week in the evenings, an additional 3 hours of coverage latent. So we've expanded, in essence, our hours of service, of having a police officer present, in those key times of interest that we discussed last month. And please interject if you have any questions as we get. Updating the professional look, police patches, uniforms, equipment. You will see I gave you an attachment beyond what was in your pamphlet. It shows, and I think you may have seen this before, our old patch, that's the shoulder patch that I have on my uniform currently, and then the new patch. This is something that the agency had started long before I was here, approximately a year ago. It was on the back burner for that period of time. When I got here, it was emphasized by the officers, their desire to move towards this. I supported that fully, and just the updated look of that, and the color scheme, etc. So that will be the first launch. I would say we'll start to see that showing up on uniforms in about 30 days from now. It's in production, and we'll go from there. Uniforms, you're going to see a slightly heightened professional kind of appearance to that, moving away from polo shirts and things like that. We're going to more of a collar type look that'll look a little more professional, as well as a more unified uniform in regards to how everyone's looking. So just so that we're all on the same sheet. That said, enhancing police presence. We're working more here in regards to community contact with businesses in community. There's from myself, there's an initiative now to make more connection with business owners in community on a regular basis. And as that goes and continues, we'll continue to look and see and track how we're doing. Hiring update. We have 2 vacancies now. With Savannah leaving, we had 1 prior to that. We have interviews coming up next Monday. We have 3 lateral people that are interested in coming to us in Jervis, and we'll see how that process goes. After interviews, there's backgrounds, etc., and I've talked to you before about kind of that lengthy process. But that's where we're at on that, in regards to getting new people on board. Keep in mind, like I said, typically to get a lateral person on, it's about 6 months. To be able to get a brand new person who's never been a police officer, to get them on board, you're talking about 15 months because they have to go to these capital. But we're underway. And like I said, we've signed contracts for being able to do psychological evals, new contracts for that, and the new contracts for background investigators, etc., that were in place. Training. We've done training throughout this month here. We've had active shooter training that they went to in Silverton with multi-agencies. Critically important, ever so important now that school season is underway. And remember, active shooters isn't just a school issue, it's a issue that exists for businesses, etc. Very glad to see that our 2 officers that we have currently did attend that and said it was very, very successfully well run interagency training for that. CGIS is a training that we sent 1 to in Seaside. This is record keeping related things. Very important for our retention laws and all the things we have to do as a police department to make sure we're a secure facility in regards to the facility, our computers and our records, etc. So important training to go for that. Last one on there was in-service setup, in-service training setup, and I'll talk about that in the next one, which is collaborating with regional police leaders. As I mentioned before, so important. That's a huge part of my role to do that, to be able to do all these things that I've talked about just this last 15 minutes, is collaborating with those police leaders to be able to get these things in place. For example, through that connectivity, we now have set it up with Marion County Sheriff's Office that Jervis Police will marry with them in regards to doing their in-service training with Marion County. So when Marion County does their entire department's police in-service training quarterly, we will be present for that to the bulk of our ability. So this is a great thing, being a small agency, to be able to dovetail with people that have training expertises in all the different realms that we're required to have per state law at different segments throughout the year, or 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. So that's a great relationship that's developing, and very, MCSO has stated they're very glad to see that we're working very cooperatively with them here these past few months. So that's been great. Then school kickoff. I just bring that up because, while I don't work for the school district, I work for the police department, and kids are real important to me. And that is one of the things for me that when I go home, that makes me nervous, is what's going on in regards to our police, in regards to what we're doing for schools. And so I just want to emphasize, while we don't have an SRO, school resource officer, in the schools, for me, we will be involved with the schools. And we are. I've been making connectivity with our school district and then with our principals and vice principals at the schools last week. And then this week, we've been present at the schools out front. I've been inside the schools as well, meeting the kids, meeting the teachers, and speaking with like whole groups of kids, et cetera, in regards to why they're there. So that's something that will continue, and we'll be very engaged in that. We're providing training also that we did a week ago for the schools as well for crosswalk guards. And like I said, just continue to connect. And that will continue as we go through the school year. Last thing I have on the list, well, not last, I lied. One of them here is enhanced police services, working smarter. So with that said, I just reiterate for everyone who's online and or just to put it out to the community to keep in mind that it is so critically important that when you need police services, it's not a phone call to an individual officer's cell phone. It's not a phone call to the front desk really of the police department. It's not a phone call or a text or an email or a voicemail message to me or any of the staff I just talked about. If police services are needed, critically important for our community and all involved to be calling the dispatch center. So to be calling the Willamette Valley Communication Center, and the number in there again, 503-588-5032. That enables the quickest abilities for either a Jervis police officer or an outside agency police officer to respond to said call for service. When we call individual people, or we call the police department, or we send texts, or we send emails, those people that we're sending, that community sends that to, could be on vacation, they could be sick, they could be Savannah Brad, not present with us anymore. So the best way for services this type center. Lastly, in regards to this theme, working smarter, is the aspect of having something that I've worked to have brought online and have a contract now signed with a company called MyPD Connect. This is, in my opinion, an important thing for the police department and a really great thing for the community. What it is that since we're a small agency, we don't have 24-hour service. And since we have a very diverse community of multi-language speakers in our community, not just English, this online service enables a person to be able to report their crime online, but do it in their mother tongue, in their language. So it's something that I'm bringing in, and I've signed a contract and have done this because it's helpful when we're not here to be able to have services. It doesn't enable you to be able to say, hey, I'm reporting online that I have a domestic disturbance happening right now or a theft in progress right now. It handles those what we would call cold calls, but it does enable someone on their time frame to be able to do it and in their language, and then have us work that and service that when we're back online. So I think this is going to be a great thing. You'll see this come online this fall. The contract is signed and written. Lastly, I just jotted some notes in regards to just some of the citizen comments at this month's meeting as new issues or new business. The issue that was brought up in regards to traffic-related, speed-related issues at the early morning hours, I think it was 5:30 to 5:50 a.m. And if I heard it correctly, I think the indication was Douglas and Ivy and First was the indication. And so I just wanted to clarify, well, yes, sometimes roads are county roads. These are inside of our city. These are the roads that we will service. These are the roads that we do enforce for all traffic enforcement. And so we will. Now the hours are challenging hours because they're primarily gonna be outside of our usual operational hours. But as your chief, I have that flexibility and I have grant funding already set up to be able to offer overtime hours that will be grant refunded or refunded back to us to have officers work overtime for like some key hours like this outside of their regular hours. Now, that's great. It's not costing us necessarily anything. And also gives the officers some good Christmas money. And at the same time, we don't need to often do a lot of that. Sometimes we can just target that a little bit and it will correct the activity for a while. And then when things start to get bad again, we can kind of apply that pressure again. So I'll put that out there for them to be able to jump on that opportunity. So I thank the community member for bringing that forward. Additionally, not only through the overtime aspect, through the grant for that, we can also put out the speed trailer that we have also and make sure that that's hopefully going through the night, be able to capture those drivers at that 5 a.m. type time frame to see what they're doing. So that issue will be addressed. The loose dog issue that was addressed, I appreciate that one as well. I'll put that out as a reminder to the officers in regards to dealing with that and being conscious of that in regards to that connectivity with community, connectivity with business owners. That's a piece of that for them to be aware of. And we'll also, obviously that dovetails into working with animal control department for the county. And we'll have the officers be working with them in regards to this issue. So of those two community issues that came up tonight, I think we're able to apply some efforts to those. Lastly, I did give you one other chart there. That's a lot of green squares and a couple of red squares. It's a different layout version of what you've seen before in regards to the chart or graph in regards to when we're taking calls for service. And that's what that is. Open questions if Kathy.
That's one point you said lastly 5 times.
But did I say the word A?
Actually, I do have a question. So the MyPD Connect, the actual call center, and even like the animal calls, the county. We get those on the quarterly newsletter to make sure for awareness, just there, those newsletters are actually getting into people's houses. So it's there, people can go post that up on their.
There's the information also, and you guys have a Facebook page, correct?
Yeah, and that's what I was just thinking.
Cool.
That's what I was just gonna say. We had a lot of the things I just talked about today. We had a lot of that material where we actually just did a publication today on Facebook, which was kind of version 2 quarterly of the message from the chief in regards to a lot of these points. And I did connect in the MyPD Connect piece of it. But down the road, we'll definitely talk about the animal control as well.
So everything we can get out there for the public.
Absolutely.
It's the best thing.
Yeah. Lastly.
All right, if you're done, chief, we're on to Public Works Department. Go.
Thankfully, not a lot to report. We had an employee get certified, which is fantastic. He's been working full time studying, going to a lot of classes, and they're very hard to get. So he sailed through the test. We got another employee testing next month. Had a little hiccup with the water plant. We were able to rectify it without any interruptions in service. The Alder Street development is slowly moving along. They've been hitting some snags lately, but curbing's done. They're supposed to have been getting sidewalks done this week, but they've had a few hang-ups to slow that down. And then the National Night Out, I think from our perspective, it was a huge success. The community really seemed to come out and enjoy it. We were glad to be able to be part of it, and all the volunteers very much appreciated their time and input.
Next time we'll make sure to have 3 grills going though.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I think our goal is to try and feed the volunteers first.
That's all I had.
Thank you, Joe. And the last item on the agenda is the deck register. Council get a chance to look at it already? If you have any questions.
Assuming the city of Sherwood is like a bi-weekly payroll.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's here.
So you're sure what it said, bi-weekly.
Anything correct? Is that why?
It's bi-weekly.
Quite there's two of them on there.
It's twice a month,
Okay, well,
which works out so. I mean, twice in 1 month, and once every 2 months, that's crazy, right? Stop it. Whatever, man.
Red W Advisors, that's the auditors, correct?
What's the question about the other?
The Red W
Yes.
Advisors, that's the auditors.
Yep.
Yeah, do you have any questions on this? If nothing else, we are going to go into an executive session. Council's gonna take a short. Council's gonna take a 5-minute break and then gather for executive session in the conference room for Oregon Statute 192.660 to Delta to conduct deliberation with persons designated by the governing body to carry on labor negotiations, and 192.6602F to consider information of record that are exempt by law from public inspection. The council is convening an executive session that will be closed to the public. No motions or votes are taken in executive sessions. The council will reconvene in open session afterwards, but it may or may not include any motions. We may go into open session just to adjourn. We may make motions based on the executive sessions and then adjourn. Thank you very much. So 5 minutes, that will be in the other room.
I'm down.